Well, hello out there in YouTube. Welcome back. Greg's Mowers and More again for another episode. Well, I really did it this time. Bought a basket case, vintage, what I believe to be 1950s gas-powered hand crank Lincoln welder off the marketplace. I wound up trading that little small Husky generator you guys saw me work on for it. And it sat for a while. It's pretty old, it's pretty rough. But my Uncle Larry always talked about these old Lincoln welders. He said they were the best welders you could get. He said they were copper wound. He said they'd out-weld about anything out there and they'll last forever. So we're going to kind of work through this today, see if maybe we can't get this thing to bark off, see if the engine's any good. Maybe we'll get a chance to see if the welder works. I don't have any weld rods, but I might be able to scrounge up an old coat hanger. I've heard you can kind of get an arc out of a coat hanger, so we'll see. So anyway, we're gonna dive in. I already kind of did a walk around on a little short introductory video, but we're gonna do it again because some of you guys probably didn't see that. So let me go ahead and grab you guys and we'll get on our way here. But this thing is just, it is too cool, man. It is so neat. So it does have the double-breasted Wisconsin right here, THD Wisconsin, hand crank to start. Got the Wyco mag on the side there. I got her all taped up because, as you can see, she come in pieces. The exhaust is over on another table, but the exhaust is going to be a problem in and of itself because it doesn't actually fit. So here's the old gas tank, which somebody's wrote some pretty neat letters there down that side of that strap. I don't know what any of that means, but I thought that was pretty cool. There's our ground clamp. There's our old Zenith carburetor. Linkage just stuck there. Hang on. Look at that cool Zenith logo on there. There's the old Zenith carburetor, oil bath air cleaner. I had this thing all taped up because it sat out here. I had it tarped up. So, and there's our old Lincoln, kind of a predecessor to a tombstone welder. It's got a newer lead on it, which leads me to believe somebody was probably welding with it at one point in time here in the not so oh, what do you want to say? Far off past. Anyway, we got a couple of really old looking champions, D16 champions looks like. So let's see what we got for engine oil in this thing. I think I checked her the other day, but I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, that looks nice and clean. I mean, it looks to be a hair above full, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Good enough to start it on. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pull all my tape off here that I've got all over everything. Trying to keep moisture out of it while it sits outside because I don't want it locking up or getting in any worse shape. Well, I can leave that one on for right now. Let me get the ones off the carburetor and the exhaust here. Oh, I taped that good. Oh. There we go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get some, figure out something that'll fit in here and just kind of come up, make something if it runs. We're not gonna be able to run it long because you run these small engines too long without an exhaust on them and they can actually mess up the exhaust valves. It's not good to run them without a good exhaust on them. I think I'm going to shut you guys off and I'm going to get the rest of this tape off of here so we can move forward. So I just noticed something and it's kind of troubling to me. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but I can see little bits of rust and dirt and walnuts down here in the exhaust port. Like maybe a mouse or a squirrel's been living in there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff down in there. So I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't get some compressed air and maybe blow that out. But anyway, we're going to continue on here, I still have to get this tape off. I just noticed that as soon as I shut you guys off. All right, I got my air compressor pumped up. I'm gonna try to blow all that crap out of there. That should be better. All right. So now I think the next thing we need to do is we need to get these old champions out. And I got a little bit of Croil left. We're gonna spray some down there. And while we're at it, I guess we'll check for spark. The guy said he put new points in the mag and it did have spark, but we're gonna make sure. Also, I think I forgot to show you guys this, but there is some pretty good damage here to this side of the head. Fins are all mashed down. Corner of it's missing here. I don't know how that's going to affect our engine running, but we will find out. So I traded a generator that my buddy Scott gave me for free for this, and I really don't have a whole lot in it. Boy, that's got big plugs in it. 7/8 plugs maybe? I think we're gonna have to get down to the old school tools and just use a thumb wrench on them. Okay, and that was actually loose. Glad we're checking these things. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, she's got some carbon deposits on her. To me, it looks like it's been cleaned and not fired on. Not for a while. Interesting. Is this one loose too? No. Doesn't appeal to be finger loose anyway. Man, that one's in there pretty tight. Oh. Gee. Holy cow, that should not be that tight. Oh! Alright, I'm gonna have to go get something else for that, but somebody's had this head off. Because I can see down in there, and that valve looks brand new. Looks like it's been decarboned and cleaned up. These old Wisconsins, I've heard horror stories that they would carbon themselves up so far that you couldn't crank them over. So I wonder if somebody didn't have the head off of it at one point in time. I'm gonna go get a wrench that fits the spark plug that I can actually put some torque to, and we'll try to get the other one out. All right, went and got a 7/8 wrench. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of Croil down here at the bottom. In case you don't know, this is some of the best penetrating oil you can get. I mean, I've seen this stuff save engines that nothing else would have saved. Brought them back from stuck to loose to freeing valves, anything and everything. That stuff's awesome. I've used it in heavy industry applications, light duty applications. It's just good all the way around. But yeah, anyway, today's Sunday, first day of the week. Haven't had much time to do this kind of stuff, so thought I'd get up right early today. It's about 7 o'clock. I'm out here tinkering around with an old small engine for you guys, and I love doing that. Looking forward to seeing where we go with this, but I'm going to give this thing a couple of taps. Hopefully that'll loosen it. And it did. Let's see what we got on the back cylinder. The back cylinder again. That plug looks like it's been cleaned on to me and not ran since. Let's look down the cylinder, see what it looks like. Oh, another train. Looks pretty clean in there for an old engine. Pretty clean. I'd say somebody has definitely been in there. Somebody It definitely had the head off this. So we're gonna spray generous amounts of Croil down in these cylinders here. Go. And I think I'm gonna try to set you guys up so maybe you can see the spark plugs, see if we got any kind of fire while I'm doing this. Because why not kill two birds with one stone and lubricate the cylinder while also trying to see if we got any spark out of this mag. I think we ought to be able to see something there. All right, let me get my pad so I'm not tearing my knees up. Okay. All right, are you guys watching? I'm getting ready to crank. Here we go. I see spark. I see good hot spark out of that mag, for sure. And I see valves moving. I'm gonna move these over a little bit because nobody likes getting shocked by an old mag. They hurt when they pop you. And I'm gonna stick my thumb over that hole and we're gonna see if we got any compression. We got some. Back cylinder's got some too. I don't know if it's enough though. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. All right. I guess we could give it a little bit of carb cleaner down there and try and light it off, but I don't know how well that's going to work with the... It should still work. We can try that just to see if it'll pop or what it'll do. I think that's probably okay. All right, we'll back you guys off. Would be nice to at least get a pop out of this thing before I go into carburation and other such things. I want to roll it over and look at the back valve too. Yep, and it's opening. Okay. So at least I can tell the intakes are working. So that's good. And I mean, if somebody tore this head off and cleaned all the carbon out, I would trust they would maybe do a valve job while they're in there, but you never can tell with this old stuff. Some old timer might have just pulled the head, put a new gasket on, maybe even didn't put a new gasket on, maybe he just decarboned it and called it a day. Depends on what kind of hurry he was in, what kind of a guy he was. Some guys will put all the time in the world in them, and some guys won't do nothing. But that's what makes it an adventure, right? Oh, I should have put carb cleaner down there before I put the plugs back in. Duh. Sorry guys, I just think maybe I'm not quite all the way awake yet. And I'm pretty excited. Pretty darn excited. Now these old hand crankers, you gotta be careful because they can kick back on you. I've heard lots of horror stories about that from old timers. We'll give her a generous little dose there on that back cylinder. Hopefully by the time I get them both screwed back in, it's not all evaporated and gone. How you guys doing today? Out there in YouTube land. You doing all right? Hope you're doing well. Hope your families are well. Oh. Yeah. Now these things got some big pistons in them. I think they're 3.5. I think the bore is like 3.5 inches in these things. They got big pistons. A lot to crank. All right. Let's see if it'll make a little noise for us. Here goes nothing. Oh, it popped. Ooh, backfire. Nothing. I think that's all we're gonna get, is that little pop, but at least we know we got enough compression to ignite something. So that was cool. All right. That was really cool. Okay, I guess we're gonna move on to fuel. Wow. Oh, I'm gonna show you the exhaust. So here's our exhaust pipe. As you can see, it doesn't really fit really well. I mean, it might work that way if I heated it up a little bit and hammered it in, but that's the wrong way. Inlet goes down. So I'm either missing a fitting or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to measure that and figure that out, but we'll keep going. All right. Shut you guys off and we're gonna go over to the bench, mess with that carburetor, take a look at it. All right, we're over here on the bench with our old Zenith carburetor. It doesn't look to be in too bad a shape, but we'll see what happens inside. We got 4 Phillips head screws holding the bottom case on. Make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. Yeah, you can see. Okay. All right. I don't think I've ever worked on one of these old Zeniths like this, but we're gonna go ahead and pop these screws out. Man, this table's pretty wobbly. And I'm hoping I can save the gaskets. If not, I'll have to try to make new ones. And I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not an expert at making gaskets. Not an expert at anything really, but you know. All right, I got all the bolts loose. Let me go grab that hammer and we'll give that a few taps. Really appreciate you guys joining me here on a beautiful Sunday morning. Just want to try to break up. There we go. There it went. If you tap on them, a lot of times you can get them to come loose from that gasket. Instead of just trying to pry them apart, you try to pry them apart, you don't break the surface tension. Oh, that says Bendix. That doesn't say Zenith. I don't know if that says Zenith on it. Oh, it does say Zenith on one side, made in the USA. It says Bendix on the other. Interesting. Learning about these all the time, the more we go. All right, we got 2 screws out, 2 to go, and then we're gonna see what's happening in here. See if it's full of old rusty stuff or gum or varnish or what we got. I think I'm speaking full sentences this morning. Backfiring like that engine just did a minute ago. All right, moment of truth. Oh, wow. Honestly, she's not bad at all. I thought it'd be a lot worse in there. Just hopefully our floats don't leak and have holes in them. But we got a little bit of old rust in the bottom, but nothing like I expected. I expected that to be way worse. And there's our main jet, probably our idle jet. I'm not sure on that, but shouldn't be nothing that we can't handle as long as that float's not shot. All right, I'm gonna go get a pan with a little bit of water in it, and I'm gonna check that float right now. Be right back. All right, got my dirty little pan full of oily water there. We're gonna try to get this float out, see if it's got any holes in it, see if it leaks. Hoping it really doesn't, because I'm not very good at patching floats. Oh, it comes out the other way, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. All right. There it goes. Yeah, that's a nice old brass float, man. It looks really good, actually, all things considered. But when they're this old, you kind of got to treat them with kid gloves. All right. There she is. Boy, look at those nice sweated seams on there. Well, our float floats. I wanted to hold it like that, though. See if it... We'll hold her under, see if we got any air bubbles. None. No air bubbles. The float passes the test. I'm shaking it. You don't hear anything rattling around in there. You don't hear any gasoline from 1947 rolling around in there. All right. Get rid of our nasty water here. Okay. Man, we're like 10 steps ahead already on that. That's incredible. All right. So let's pull our little needle out here and see. Oh wow, that's kind of strange. That needle has like a little spring in it. Uh-oh, I just dropped that in a couple of different pieces. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, our needle is stuck. So that would have prevented fuel from getting into the carburetor, which would have caused this to not run. See if we can't get that to come out. Stuck in there pretty good. We're gonna have to blow some carb cleaner on the top side of it. There we go, now we got some coming around it. Man, she's not wanting to come out. Might have to go get a pick. Be able to get that out of there. There she's coming. There we go, there we got her. Actually doesn't look too awful bad. It's not all gummed up on there. It must have just had a little tiny bit of varnish in there. But I gotta make sure I put this spring and whatever this other part is. Must be like a variable seat pressure deal or something. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to show on camera, but all that just kind of sits in there. There's a spring there, and there's a little rod that probably tucks in your float. So that's pretty interesting. Not bad at all. I need to go get a bigger screwdriver so I can pop this out. And then we got another little thing here. So we got some work to do here. We need to pop these jets out. That's going to require a smaller screwdriver. All right. drive is this 3/8. I don't know. That's kind of floppy on there. Can't imagine that'd be a 10 mil on something this old. No? Strange. Strange. 11:30 seconds. I don't know if that socket's deep enough though. Yeah, that's 11:30 seconds for that there little main jet. See if it'll come out. Oh yeah, it's coming right apart for us. Coming right apart. Wow, I can see through that. There's not even really any trash in there. I think somebody about had this going and then just stopped. That's what I think happened. See if I can't get this other jet out here. I don't know, I think the screwdriver's probably too big. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me shut you guys off and go find some more tools. Okay, I got a few tools. But other than that needle valve sticking like that, I really don't see a smoking gun here. This thing probably would have ran. Would it have ran like it should? Probably not, but it still probably would have popped off and ran. If the carburetor was just put back on. And the guy probably took it off because he couldn't get fuel through it. That's my guess. Probably if he would have shot some carb cleaner in the inlet and tapped on it with a hammer a few times, he probably would have come loose. Let's try and get this out. Sometimes these are kind of hard to get out. This one's going to come for us though. Oh yeah, fine shape. I got no complaints about that whatsoever. All right, I brought out another smaller screwdriver. We're gonna see if we can't get this out. There we go. Whenever you take apart a carburetor, you always want to try to take them apart as far as you can get them. Some of them, you can get them apart all the way. Other ones are designed not to let you do that, especially on newer stuff. They'd rather just sell you a new carburetor. This one's kind of, the screwdriver's a little too big, but I'm getting there. All right. So far, I cannot believe the shape this engine is in. Cannot believe it. I'm going to pull this plug and this plug. It's probably 7/16. And that's a 7/16, and then the other one's probably a half. All right. We're just gonna go ahead and take her apart. Yeah, we got some rust there. She's been sitting a while. How long, I couldn't tell you, but she's definitely been sitting up a little while. And that was loose. That was probably dripping fuel. All right. There we go. Okay, so that pretty much does it for our bowl. I wonder what kind of... Okay, well that's kind of interesting. I kind of doubt that's supposed to be like that, but I don't know. See how that's kind of like shoved off to the side there, like she's bent? I don't I don't believe that should be like that. There's a little play in the throttle shaft bushings. I've seen worse. Or is that the choke? That's the choke. I'm not too concerned about the choke. Alrighty, what else do we got in here? We got our adjustment right here we need to take out. Take out that and look at it. Looks fine. Not bad at all. I don't know if I can get that one out or not. Okay, one more stuck right in here. I'm gonna try to pull it out and see what that's all about. There we go. And that's a little tiny orifice there, leading into where we just took that screw out from. And that looks to be about it for this as well. Yeah, I think this is probably your fuel inlet here, I don't know. But that was shut off, so that probably helped save it. Okay. Sounds like it's egg laying time here. The chickens are making all kinds of racket. So what we're gonna do now is just kind of blow through all our passages. Try to clean things up a little bit. Try to get as much of this rust and junk out of here as we can. I don't have a whole lot of carb cleaner left, so I'm trying to be sparing. But I do want to try and do a halfway decent job on this thing. You know, I don't want to keep tearing it apart and tearing it apart and tearing it apart. I'm running out in that can already. Dagnabbit. Just gonna blow through where that needle sits and try to get as much varnish out as we can. Spray the end of the needle down. Yeah, the can's about shot there. And this one's not much better. We may have to stop for a little bit today and get some more carburetor cleaner. I'm gonna take that little gasket off of there so I don't lose it. All right. All these holes on this main jet are wide open. I can literally see that. I mean, she's in good shape. Good shape. Cannot believe how good a shape she's in. This little guy here might be plugged a little bit. We'll try to go through it if we can. We can get most of the way through it, not all the way. Okay, that's probably open now. Yep, that's open now. That's good. Put a little bit on the end of that. Clean that up. Clean our floats up a little more. Spray the insides of these plugs out. Try to get the rust out of them. Just trying to clean her up good. All right. Let's do a little bit of scrubbing in these bowls here. So I can just clean them up. Get them to where they're gonna work again. Not have a bunch of little particles coming up and plugging up your jets. Although this thing's got pretty big jets on it, they're going to be kind of tough to plug. We haven't even looked at the fuel tank yet though, and I think that's probably going to be the fun part. The fuel tank. I think I'm going to spray a little Croil on this bowl because that stuff helps with rust big time. There we go. Put some Croil down in there and start scrubbing. Take your time, put a little elbow grease into things, and you'll come out ahead. Only got a few hours to tinker with this morning, sadly. Well, not sadly, because I'm going to visit my grandmother today that I haven't seen in a while. She's like 83, 84 years old, you know. It's important to go visit the people that helped to bring you up and taught you things, took care of you when you were young. The Bible talks about that. You know, taking care of your elders. It's a blessed thing to be able to hang out with old people. I don't mean old people disrespectfully, of course. The older generation people anymore, they just want to stick them in a home somewhere and just let them go. You know, they think they're invaluable, but I'm telling you something. The tricks that I have learned from the older generation, guys that did this long before I was even thought of, it's invaluable. If you're a young kid who's getting into the trades, getting into enjoying working on stuff, take this piece of advice from me. Find a guy in your neighborhood who's always tinkering with something. Maybe he's 80, 85 years old, maybe he's 70, maybe he's 60, even 50. He's going to know more than you do. He's going to have been around the block a time or two. Just go hang out with him. Let him tell you some stories. Let him show you some things. And I'll tell you something, 20, 30 years down the road, you're going to be unbelievably grateful for that. When I was young, there was people that taught me things, and I mean, they worked on Model A's, Model T Fords, Ford tractors, the old Chryslers, the old Plymouths, you know, just invaluable. If I had it all to do over again, I would. I would not change a thing when it comes to that. I am grateful for those things, for those people. The ones that went before me, that took the time to stop what they were doing and teach a young kid something. And now that young kid, well, he's not young anymore. He's kind of starting to get up there. I mean, I'm 41, I'm not old, but I'm not young, you know, right there in the middle. But I tell you what, the things you think about, things you look back on in your life and think about, the things that could have been so much different. My life could have turned out so much different, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm so grateful that I got to do the things that I got to do and see the things I got to see and learn what I had to learn, and I'm grateful that I get to pass some of those things on to you. So anyways, in case you didn't notice, I'm kind of starting to throw this carburetor back together. Now, I was gonna run that wire brush on the bottom of these floats, but I feel like that would just be a travesty to do that, because we know they're not leaking and they're not really gummed up. So I'm just kind of gonna gently take this little cloth here with some carb cleaner on there, and we're gonna wipe them off. And I don't want to bend them, because these are already set to your float level that you need. So try not to bend those. Just gently clean them up, treat them with kid gloves. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start putting things back in, like our main jet assembly here. And slide him back in there with his gasket. And start it. Take our socket and run it down. Now remember, these are brass, so you got to kind of treat them gently. You can't go, don't go jamming them in there with like an impact or something. You know, that's probably enough. Just kind of treat them like you would. Trying to think of the best way to describe that. Treat them like you're taking your grandma to church and she's holding a big bowl of baked beans in a glass Tupperware, not Tupperware thing, but a glass Pyrex dish on her lap. You know, treat it like that. Proceed with caution, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. You can mess this stuff up in a heartbeat if you're not paying attention. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this guy back down in here. You know, if you got about 10 minutes to try and clean this carburetor, don't even tear it apart. Don't even mess with it. Because you're gonna get in a hurry, you're gonna drop something, something's not gonna go right. Just take your time and spend a little bit of time with it. Give yourself an hour. Give yourself an hour. Don't rush it. All the best things in life are not rushed. You know, I don't drink anymore because I lost about 10 years of my life to alcoholism, but you know, they say that the older liqueurs and wines and things like that, as long as they're stored properly, they get better with age. And I can believe it, because things mature better the older they get. Now we're going to put this adjustment needle back in here. And about every old carburetor I ever worked on, any adjustment screw you have, you run them in until they stop gently, and then you back them out. There's a half turn, there's one turn, there's a half turn. 1.5 turns is always a good place to start on a carburetor. All right. Just want to spray this needle here one more time. Gonna throw a little bit more carb cleaner down in the seat. Then I think I'm actually gonna throw some Croil in there too, just to kind of lubricate that thing. We'll stick it in there. Then we'll take our float and our float pin. And do not force your float pins through. They should go through real nice and easy like. I mean, once you get them there, you may have to give them a little tappy, but you shouldn't have to go pounding on them with a hammer or anything like that. There we go. She's back in there. Now we're going to check this needle valve and see if we got sealing or not. Now this is off. I'm going to plug that with my finger. And I can't blow through there, so that's a good sign. So I'm going to tip her the other way now and let the float come down gently and see if that needle valve comes out. And there it is, and I should be able to blow through there. And I can, so that's going to work. So we have checked it. Now, when we get it in there, is it going to work? You know, that's a gamble. But hey, we're ready to put our carburetor back together. So that's a good thing. And again, try not to bend up your float, putting her back together. Trying to be gentle. And just try to line everything up. There we go. Now, start your screws. So now what I do with these screws is I run them down here, 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 and here. I try to go in a crosswise pattern and pull them down evenly. And on the first run, I'm not going to pull them down real tight. And then I'll go over them again and tighten them a little more. Just because I want to try to get that old gasket to seat and not have a big air gap somewhere where it's going to suck air. Okay. Now I'm going to come back and put a little bit of force to them. I'm not trying to strip them out. I'm not trying to He-Man it. Not putting all the torque in the world in her. Alright, now we got that back together. Now I'm going to flip it over again. And I just want to recheck and make sure that I can get flow through this thing. Oh yeah, we're flowing. Tip her upside down. No flow. Okay. Our carburetor rebuild is complete. And I am missing this gasket. So, we got to make one. So I think I'm going to try to teach you how to do that. Like I said, I'm not the best at it. My Uncle Larry, boy, God rest his soul, he could do anything. Oh look, I got stink bugs living in my gasket paper. This is a dying art right here, guys, I'll tell you. I don't know of too many people that make gaskets anymore. But our local hardware store still sells gasket paper. Thank the Lord. So I'm going to take my screws and my washers out here, and I'm going to show you how to come up with a pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this paper, try to get this carburetor set flat. Lay this paper up here, just like so. I'm going to take a little hammer, and just start working around the corners. Start tapping around the corners on it. And you can see we're starting to form an outline there. So now we've got a template. So get out your little X-Acto knife or a razor blade. Come on along there and just cut that out. Take it easy on the corners. Uh-oh, kind of messed up there. We'll get there. It takes you a couple of tries, that's all right. It ain't got to be perfect. Okay. Now we got the start of our gasket. All right. And that should work pretty good. All right. So we'll set that on there like so, and then I'm going to find these holes out here with my little screwdriver. There we go. And that one's centered. And that one's centered. All right, we got our two outer holes. Set her back up there, and we're going to kind of line that back up, and then I'm just going to kind of gently go around the center with my ball peen end here. Try to find that center hole. Make a witness pattern. And we got it. And we're going to cut that circle out. I missed a few places cutting on it. This is one of them tricks I'm talking about that the old timers will teach you that nobody else does anymore. There we go. And just like that, we got a usable gasket. I mean, it's not the prettiest off the shelf thing, but it's gonna work for us. So we can set that on there and we can see it works. And now I'm gonna take my bolts and just kind of work our bolts through them without tearing them. Open them holes up a little bit. Some guys use drill bits. I have. I'm just kind of trying to make her a little bit faster today. You know, come on the other side there and just kind of peel some of that paper away. All you got to be able to do is get your bolt through the gasket, just like that. There we go. Do the other side. And I mean, you know, if you would have had to buy this online, you'd have been waiting a while probably, at least a few days. We made her here in about 15 minutes, maybe less. No. And then we've got a gasket. Nice usable brand new gasket for our carburetor to be able to mount her on there, which is what we're fixing to go do. Okay, back out here at the engine. Got our 2 1/2-inch carburetor bolts, got our little gasket we just made and our carburetor. And we're gonna set it on there. Bolt her down. Try to figure these linkages out that I have no idea how they go together, but that's okay. We're gonna take our time. We're not gonna get in a big mad hurry trying to figure this thing out. We got time. We got time. Now I'm gonna guess, let me set these up here, trying to not lose my bolts and my gasket. Looks to me like this goes up here, and I do not have a cotter pin for this right now either, so we're gonna have to be careful about that. But it's gonna go up into this rod. Alrighty. So I think what I need to do, set that up there for a second. I'm gonna take my bolts and my carburetor gasket, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set my bolts down through my flange here. And just go ahead and start that on there. Go ahead and get my bolts pushed through on my gasket. That way I know my gasket's not gonna go anywhere. There we go. Then we'll take our carburetor, and what we'll do is we'll swing our throttle linkage up over into here. I don't know if I'm blocking you guys or not. Probably am. Probably blocking you. Sorry for that. Anyway, we're going to get that linkage through there, maybe. If I can. There it went. Okay, there it's through there. It fit in there really nice, actually. Alright. Now, I need to move this. I gotta roll this carburetor in here. Actually, I think I'm messing it up. I think I gotta go the other way. I think the bottom of it's gotta go in first. Let me move some things around. I'm gonna try to get you guys in here a little better. Hopefully that'll work a little better. All right, move over here. Okay. So I'm gonna pop that governor back out. There we go. I'm gonna take that, go like that with it. Try and swing. Kind of a tight fit. There we go. I think we're getting somewhere now. Maybe. I think the bolt's kind of blocking us though, a little bit. There she goes. All right. Okay. And then we'll get our bolt started in our carburetor. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this all this stuff off of this line here because it's kind of hassling us. On this fuel line here. Come on off of there, booger. Okay. She's got a mechanical fuel pump on her that I have no idea if that's going to work either, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Come on, start in there. There we go. All right, carburetor started. Let's get this linkage bracket back up in here where it belongs. There we go. That's through. Okay. I really wonder why this is pointing up like this. I wonder what that was for. Maybe somebody rigged that in there so they could just run a gravity feed. Maybe the fuel pump's junk on it. I don't know. We'll find out. It's kind of what it looks like though. Maybe it had a dual inlet carb because that runs in and that runs in. I don't know. Strange though. Real strange. Probably gonna have to figure that out pretty quick though. We're getting somewhere. We're making headway slowly but surely. Well, what do you guys think? Is it gonna run? And we already had sparks, so that's like a big time battle, you know. The engine looked clean inside, it kind of popped. I mean, that still doesn't mean that we don't have a stuck valve, but still a pretty good sign. It showed signs of life, so why not? Kind of hard to get in here to get this back bolt tight. I think I got her pretty tight though. All right, there's that. How about our choke here? Is our choke cable even any good? Yes, it actually is good. Okay, cool. All right. She's kind of rigged up, kind of crusty and messed up, but hey, at least it's there. Go ahead and hook that back in. I have to go get a screwdriver. Man, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day to just be out here in nature tinkering. Oh, there goes a cardinal flying over there. All right, flat blade screwdriver. Should run that back down. The more I'm thinking about it, the more this kind of has me a little bit concerned. Because I don't know why it's there, if that's going to allow like a vacuum leak, I guess would be the proper term. All right, let's see if that works. Kind of works. Kind of. Probably ought to bring her up a little bit more, like that, so that it's not hitting. There we go, there's full choke. Always check. Make sure your linkages are working properly. Okay. Open, shut. Okay. All right, and then it looks like our throttle linkage is just kind of, uh-oh, that fell right out. I don't like that. All right, I wish I had something to stick through there. Maybe a staple or something, but governor linkage, throttle linkage are working. Somebody's just got an old screw clamp on there to kind of set that, I guess. Kind of weird. Yeah, this is a little concerning. The fuel pump's a little concerning. I think I'm going to shoot a little bit of coil down. Oh, the tank's even unhooked there. Look at that. I think I'm going to shoot a little bit of coil down in that fuel pump to try to help that diaphragm, if it's not already toasted, come back around to life. I gotta say, pretty pleased so far with how this is going. Hasn't put up much of a fight yet. All right. And I will say, on these old mechanical style fuel pumps like this with the diaphragm in them, you're almost always better to replace them. And if they're packed full of varnish, don't spray carb cleaner in there. The carb cleaner will eat right through the diaphragm. So anyway, we did that. I probably shouldn't put this line on the carburetor yet, but I'm going to anyway. Why not? So we'll put it on there, kind of tighten it down a little. Okay, let's move on to our tank. See what we got going on there. Let me zoom you guys back out a little bit. There we go. Pretty neat old fuel tank. I kind of doubt it was the original one, but maybe. I mean, somebody's done some work on her before. I should just be able to pivot it up and take these springs out, I think, and drop her. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, that side come off. That side there's a little more tricky. Maybe the bottom side will come out. We're gonna have to do something here. It needs to come off. Let me snag a pair of pliers and get her out of there. It's getting about warm enough I can take my jacket off. Boy, that fuel line was not really crimped down to anything. Okay. Well, it's loose on there too. Look at that. Yeah, that wasn't really doing anything. Okay. All right, so we got our tank on our bench. You can kind of see where she's been patched together a time or two. So what I'm gonna try to do first is I want to just know how bad this is. I'm gonna blow through this. This should have a tube on there that goes down the bottom of the tank. So I'm gonna try to blow through there with compressed air and see what comes out. It looks rustier than all get out in there. Maybe if I can do it. Okay, let's try blowing right in the tank. Oh yeah. Chunks and chunks and chunks. Chunks, 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 and varnish. Oh man. Yeah, that's I'd say that's pretty rough. Pretty rough old tank. I'm gonna kind of gently tap around on it. Probably not the best idea. Well, that's kind of weird. One point in time, she come out the bottom. Now she's coming out the top. Somebody's messed with her. I bet she's pretty fragile. Matter of fact, you can kind of see where somebody schmoozed some JB weld on there. She's been patched several times, so you know it's real bad inside. Probably not savable, but we gotta try. Gotta try. And I mean, that is, oh man, that might be the worst tank I have ever seen in my life. All right, I'm gonna go take it over and start running some water through it. And then I'll make a determination from there, but that's pretty bad. Well, sadly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to save that tank, at least not today. I've rinsed it out with water 5 or 6 times, and just as much rust is coming out of it now as was when I started. Also tried to blow through that line that they had the fuel line hooked to. I can't get through it. It's plugged up down inside of there. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking, see what else I got laying around here, and try to make a plan to go forward. Okay, so I'm formulating a new plan. So everything I tried so far didn't work out. The only thing I can think of is I took this line off from the fuel pump to the carburetor, and I used my little pipe cutter and I cut it in half. I'm gonna stick one end in the carb and have it coming out to the side or up. Stick a piece of fuel line on it. This old line, I was gonna try to bend it, but as soon as I did it, so rough it just split right in half. So I'll jam this on here. I'll make a little clip out of mechanics wire to hold it, or clamp if you will. Run this out to the side, and then hopefully I can dump enough fuel down this to fill the bowl in the carburetor enough that we can get her started. At least that is my hope. That's where we're going, because I don't have any kind of hose barbs or anything like that. I don't have any kind of tanks just sitting around that I can make. I was going to try to make one out of an old 2-cycle fuel can, but I can just see it leaking everywhere and going all wrong. So this is what we got, and we're going to try to run with what we got. So I'm going to shut you guys off and try to get this made up, and I'll bring you back. All right, I got something that I think might work. It's kind of hazardous, probably not the best thing to do, but we're going to try it because it's all I could think of to make work. So I did cut that line and got it, I made a farmer clamp, ran it up. I took a fitting out of another carburetor. Wrapped it in electrical tape, shoved it up there in the end of that funnel, nice and good and tight. And I'm going to drizzle a little gas down there, and it's going to go down and into the carburetor. And then we're going to try to bust this thing off, hopefully after some of the fumes dissipate. And just hope and pray that the Lord is with us on this. And, oh, I forgot that I got to come up with something for that governor linkage so it doesn't pop off there and run wide open. So I need to do that. All right, we're back. Wound up, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I wound up taking a little piece off my torch tip tool, cutting it and making a little cotter pin. And then wouldn't you know it, my funnel's holding gasoline, and she's not leaking a drop. So I think we're about ready to try to light this beast off. So I think I might try to empty that funnel out a little bit though, because I don't want it, when it fires, I don't want it slinging gasoline everywhere. You know what I mean? That's kind of a dangerous combination with an arc welder and open exhaust manifold and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to drain a little bit of that back out. We got enough there in the line to fill the bowl. I don't really want a ginormous fireball today. All right, gas can is out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna give this thing a few taps on the bowl just for good luck. All right, and then I think it's time to see what we got. I mean, we've lubed the cylinders, we've gone through the carb, temporary fuel system. I think I kind of want to tuck this down behind there a little bit, maybe get it out of the way a little more. Right. Choke set. We are ready to rock. Here we go. Here goes nothing. Oh, she tried. She tried again. Okay. Shut our choke off. Oh, man. Choke back on. Open our screw up a little more. Give it a little more fuel. Another little tappy. Come on, Lord. Oh, man. Whew. Maybe I better give her a little carb cleaner, huh? Oh, man. Whew. Oh, man. Whew. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. We're popping back. I wonder if the mag's out of time. Whew, man, she's a toughie. Half choke. Oh! Getting closer. Whew. Full choke. Okay, that was fun. Let me go chase that down. Oh. Whew. Tell you what, man, this thing's kind of a hassle to crank over. Got more crap coming up in my exhaust, and they're leaking fuel. Maybe I should pop a plug out. See if we flooded it. No, it's not bad. Come on. I'm not a carb cleaner. Oh, oh, so cool. We got a couple runs out of her. So cool. Shut the choke off. Try it that way. Choke back on. Getting my workout today. Oh. Oh man. Whew. I'm gonna have to take a little break. Catch my breath. Okay. Well, I had my water break. I got a little cooled down. Dumped a little more gas in that funnel up top. We're gonna keep cranking away. Man, she's really trying. Really trying. Let's open that up a little more. Seems like it was really close. Oh man. Ooh, backfire. Wow. Kicking back at me. Kind of hurt. Oh. Come on, baby. Light on. Oh. Seems like we're so close. Seems like we're really close. Come on, old girl. You can do it. Oh. Whew. Man. Oh, she tried there. Dagnabbit. She is tough. Tough egg to crack. Wish I had a better way to wheel this over faster. Electric start's definitely the way to go. I'm gonna pull a plug out. Have a look at that. Kind of wonder, where's our throttle at? Okay, we're about midway on our throttle. Plug's dry. We may not be getting any fuel. And I'm about out of carb cleaner. Should be getting fuel though, through that old carb. Yeah, we're not getting fuel. Let's open her up a little more. Maybe we can open the throttle a little more. There we go. Oh. She's trying. She wants to live. Yeah, nothing on the back plug either. Yeah, let me go see if there's anything in the other bottle of carb cleaner. Alright, so I got to thinking about it. I'm out of carb cleaner, but I had some 2-stroke oil left, so I took a little bit, put it in a water bottle, poked a hole in the cap. Oh shoot, okay, sorry guys. And I'm going to try to drizzle a little bit in each cylinder. That way I know I'm not washing the cylinders down all the way. I'm giving them some lube. And, well, maybe she just might kick over for us. And there's about, I don't know, 4 drops in the back cylinder. I'm just guessing in case you guys haven't figured that out yet. I don't really know. Don't know the sweet spot to put that stuff in the cylinders. I'm just hoping to get the right mixture by trial and error, and hear this thing bust off in a crank or two, so I don't have to wear out my arm all day. Which these things were notoriously good for. Especially once they got a little bit of wear on them. Got a little low on compression. Until they were warmed up, you'd crank on them all day long. And I'm guessing this one's probably got some wear and tear on it. But at any rate, we got some fuel in our cylinders. So we're going to try it again. Here we go. Open our choke just a little bit. Well, let me see if I can get a little of this in the carb. There we go. Choke shot. Oh, geez. Whoa. Crazy dangerous. Obviously, this is not the original. That or it's been broke a few times. Whew. Yeah, we're not getting much anything out of it now. There was a pop. Alright. I'm going to open the choke. Try it again. Nothing. Man, she's hard to please. Really hard to please, this old girl is. Whoa, there was a backfire. Whew. Dang. I just wonder what in the world is going on here. There we go. Oh man. Whew. I tell you what, if you're one of them old timers used to crank on these all day, I sure wouldn't want to fight you. It'd be tough as nails to crank one of these old girls over. My goodness. Kind of wonder if we ain't got a stuck valve, the way it keeps popping back. It's kind of dangerous. Yeah, it's popping back. It's either lean or we got a stuck valve. And I really don't want to pull the head on this because I don't know how that's going to work with the way the head is. Both plugs still bone dry. Oh geez, peeing all over the place. Come on. All right, put a little more in. Sure would like to hear it bust off though. Run a little bit. That would be just incredible. Hear this old relic fire up. It's obviously got some strong fire. All right, here we go. Oh! Oh man, that's hurting. Come on, bust off. Come on. Ooh. Kicking back big time. Wonder if we got too much throttle. Okay, that seems to be back as far as I can take it. Man, tough, tough, tough. All right, let's take another break. Whew. All right, well, we're gonna try it again. See if we get anywhere. Here we go. Ooh, backfire out the intake. Ooh, another backfire out the intake. I think our mag's off. That or we got a stuck valve. It shouldn't be backfiring out the intake like that. Try her again. Open her wide open. Boy, she sounds like she's got some compression, don't she? Yeah, she's not doing much anything now though. Interesting. I just gotta wonder, maybe something in the mag ain't right. Because it sure seems to be blowing a lot of backfire out that carburetor. That or we got a stuck valve. Not sealing valve, I guess. I'm gonna think about it a minute. Thinking about pulling the head. Kind of nervous about it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try and pull this head. See if that'll go. The only way I'm gonna know whether or not it's the valves or the mag is to pull the head and look at the valves. I could probably spend some time online and look at that and take the mag off and see if it's in time or 180 out, but I'd rather know I'm working with a decent cylinder and decent valves first. So that's the way I'm gonna go. Some of you guys out there may not agree with me, but that's just my feeling on it. That's what my gut's telling me to do, so that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start here in the middle, and I just hope and pray to God these come out and don't break off. I sprayed them with Croil. Well, that one come right loose. That one's, I don't know. Treat these things with kid gloves. Start in the center, work your way out nice and even. Okay, they're coming out. They're coming out. Awesome. So far, so good. We're about to have a look inside of Wisconsin here in a minute. And thank God she's a flatty. I just hope this head's not ruined over here. I hope that's not the reason why. Like we're leaking compression out or something. But if it is, well, then at least we know why. You know, I mean, it should have cranked off and run by now. I need to take these plugs out. They're getting in the way. Yeah, I thought she should have fired off and at least gone glug, 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 which it kind of did, but you know, it didn't even try to take off and run for us. And I mean, I bet I've been cranking on it for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes off and on. Even with stuff directly down the yap, it should have lit off by now. I just really hope that the head gasket's not crumbling into pieces when I yank this head off of here, because if it is, then that's going to be it. I'll have to see if I can't find one. Depending on the condition of the cylinders. If the cylinders are all scored up and shot, or she's got a valve messed up and melted in her, I don't know. Sometimes these Wisconsin parts on these older engines aren't that easy to find. And guys are pretty darn proud of them when they do have them. And I'm just an old guy tinkering. I ain't got a lot of money. I had some big dreams for this thing. We'll see if they materialize or not. Because I got a free trailer. I was going to try to put it on that. And have myself a little portable welding rig that I could take anywhere for not much money. But we're about to see where we're at here in a minute. As soon as I can get this head off. Just treating her with kid gloves because I don't know how bad it is in here. I don't know. I mean, this head obviously got beat on, or this thing got rolled over and dropped, or who knows. Who knows what happened to the fins on top of this head, why that corner of the head's broke off. I'm sure she's got quite a story to tell. And I wish I knew it all. It'd be a lot more fun to tell it. Uh-oh. No! Come here. Sadly, I'm kind of running out of time though. I got maybe like an hour before I gotta get ready to go visit my grandmother today. But thank you guys for coming along with the journey here. If I had my guess, I bet you she's got a stuck valve. I would have thought she would have kicked off and ran on one cylinder though if it was just one. Maybe it's several. I don't know. Maybe we'll get in here and it'll be fine. Maybe she'll look like brand new, like it did when I pulled the plug out. You never know unless you get in here. I mean, I guess I could have done a compression test on it, but on these crank start engines, I mean, how much you're really going to learn from that? You know? we obviously got enough for it to hit, because it hit. It would fire. One time I think it fired and it spun around once or twice, but it might have been running backwards when it did it. I just don't know. Don't have all the answers right now. All right, here we go. And that head was pretty loose. All right, so what's holding us in here? Come on, old girl. Come on up off of there. So I still got one in here in the back. Yeah. Holding us in. There it is. Whoo! Okay. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Alright, so the head is definitely carboned up. Alright. I should have pulled that head before I started. I think I messed her up. Alright, well, as you can see, we got debris in here. We got little nutshells and all kinds of crap in there. So I'm gonna have to get my air compressor over here and blow that out. Or a paper towel. Try and grab as much out of there. The tops of the pistons look almost brand new. Head gasket looks good too. Got a Victor Rein's head gasket in it. Somebody was in here scraping. There's a bunch of scrape marks in that piston. I'm going to throw a little bit of that 2-cycle mix in these cylinders here. Try to clean them up a little better. Yeah, somebody's been in here and decarboned this. For certain, that's what's happened. Because I can see all the scratch marks on the top of the piston where they've been in here scraping. And then the exhaust got full of mouse house or something. All right. Yeah, let me see if I can show you guys some scrape marks on top of that piston. You can see where they were in here scraping on her. I mean, they look pretty good though. Cylinder walls aren't all scored up. That's a blessing. That's a real blessing. All right. Okay, let me try to get you guys a better shot of what's going on here. All right, there we go. That should be pretty good. Okay. So I'm gonna wheel it over, have a look at her, see what's working and what ain't. And I think I'm gonna try to lubricate these valve stems and valve seats while I'm here. Because a lot of crap came in through these exhaust valves. A lot of crap. All right,
Alright, let's wheel her over a whole bunch of times now and see what we get. Stems do feel a little sticky to me. Those valves should be able to move a little bit in there and twist a little. There it goes. Valves are supposed to be able to kind of move a little bit, twist. Yeah, that one's fine. It's sticking. There she goes. I guess I can see if our mag's 180 out here, because it should fire. Well, I don't want to do that, but it's coming up on TDC on that back cylinder there. Trying to get her to where I can actually see what it's doing though. Because she's coming up on TDC on the rear cylinder, she should fire on the rear. If it don't, we know we're out. And I didn't see it fire on the back cylinder. I think we might be 180 out on the mag. We're gonna have to find out for sure though. And this will tell us, because we can watch our pistons and our valves. I don't think I'm going fast enough to get fire out of it. Can't tell. Can't tell. Wish I could tell though. The sun's right in my eyes. Yeah, I can't tell. Okay. really thinking I should probably take this exhaust manifold off. Before I do that though, I'm going to decarbon the head. Shut you guys down. Alright, so we're over here on the table. I flipped our head over. I dumped out our bolts and our washers over there. They're all the same length, so that don't matter. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of Croy oil here. Now I'm looking and I don't see any evidence of a blown head gasket. The head gasket didn't show it either. But if there is, you'll see a little mark through here. Or maybe here on the corner of it blowing out. So whenever that fell or they dropped it, boy, they got lucky. They got real lucky. This Croy oil is excellent stuff. And I'm about out of it. It's expensive stuff, but it is excellent, excellent stuff. So this is going to penetrate real quick here. And we're just going to go to scrubbing. And it's just going to bust that carbon right up. I got a wire drill brush that goes on my drill, but I was just a little bit impatient or lazy, I don't know which one, about it, to walk in the house and go get it. I've been using it on home improvement projects and whatnot. Yeah, you can see it's just literally melting that carbon right down right now. They make little carbon scrapers, you can use them, but you know, nothing wrong with getting your exercise in with your wire brush either. And it ain't got to be perfect. I ain't got a parts washer besides my two hands, you know. But you can just kind of work at her, clean her up a little bit, get all the crud off as much as you can. She's an old engine, she ain't got to be perfect. She's used to running in the dust and the dirt and all kinds of stuff. Kind of like me, I'm used to running in the dust and the dirt and all kinds of stuff. I've been for a long time. All right, I'm gonna run over there. Now gasoline makes an excellent parts cleaner and an excellent solvent. There's a little bit on there. And we'll go to wiping. Just trying to get all them big bits of carbon out. You know, those bits of carbon, when they come out, they can jam in that cylinder, they can jam under a valve. We're gonna scrape on this a little bit. We got some pretty tough carbon in this cylinder over here. I mean, this engine could have been rebuilt with how clean it was inside. Somebody scraped the carbon out of her though. And you never know, somebody might have taken her apart rear-ended her. Those scratches could have been on the top of that piston for a long time. The important thing is you want to get most of that carbon out. As you see, most of it is right back in here in your valve relief. And I think I am going to have to go get my little wire brush on my drill to finish this, just to do a nice enough job on it that I'm happy with. All right, I went and got my drill. And try and get in here and get this carbon out. take this over, blow it out, see what we're dealing with. Okay. She's looking night and day difference. Still some pretty hard carbon around here. I would like to get that out. But we're looking pretty good so far. About out of Croil though. And I mean, this is the stuff, I use this on everything. Whether I got a stuck pin in a big old wheel loader or something tiny small. I'll tell you what, that Croil is good stuff. I ain't never seen anything like it. It'll literally creep up the threads of a bolt. Yeah, that Croil, when I worked for Caterpillar, they had it in a big gallon jug. I hate to think what that would have cost. It says right on there, the oil that creeps. And it will. I was working on a 950B wheel loader one time. Had a stuck pin in a lift cylinder. And we tried everything. We tried WD-40, acetone, transmission fluid. We tried all kinds of stuff. I went to the crib, got some of that Croil because I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know what it was. We put some of that on there. We used that in a porta power, and she come right out. And from that day forward, I was deeply, deeply impressed with the Croil. I've used it on everything. I've seen it save engines. It has never hurt me to use it on anything. Not ever. We're getting her pretty good now. She's going to be back up to rebuilt status here before you can shake a stick at her. Not like professional machine shop rebuilt status, but Greg's mower's more backwoods redneck rebuilt status. Doing what you can with what you got. Outside, open air, not all the millions of tools. You know, normal shade tree guy stuff. That's what we do here. I'm not a professional. Don't claim to be. Just an old guy tinkering around with an old engine on a Sunday morning. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a good little challenge to your mind, something that kind of relaxes you a little bit. You know. I believe the Bible says that Tubal Cain was the first artificer in iron and brass. So he would have been like the first mechanical type guy, if you will. And granted, he was from the wrong line. He was from the line of Cain. But that's pretty much where it started, you know. Guys started making spears and stuff out of metal found out of the ground. And it just progressed from there. Just kept right on going. Thousands and thousands of years down the line. And we're still playing with iron and brass today. And aluminum and the other thing. But anyway, she looks a world different. She looks clean enough to put back on to me. I do need to try to get the crap out of the spark plug thread holes though. There's a bunch in there. There we go. All right. probably better clean up some of these paper towels. Good wind comes up, I'll be chasing them all over the yard. All right, see you guys back over there at the machine. All right, so this is kind of eating at me a little bit, knowing that I got all that crap inside them cylinders. So I think the best thing I probably can do is pull this exhaust manifold and try and get the rest of this garbage out of here, because it just keeps coming. So I think that's what we're gonna do next, which kind of stinks because the carburetor is gonna have to come back off, you know, all that fun stuff. But I think we're gaining. I really do. I think we're gaining. At least I hope so. But time will tell. So we're gonna go ahead and take our choke off. Which, I mean, this obviously somebody rigged this up probably a long time ago. Not quite as old as Tubal Cain in the Bible, but at some point in time they did, you know. Take my little homemade clip out. We get our carburetor linkage off. There we go. Stick that back in our carburetor linkage for safekeeping so it doesn't get lost out here. That ought to do it. Alright, now I thought I had a 1/2-inch wrench out here for the carburetor, and I do. Okay. I'm just kind of hoping to be able to snake it out, line and all. Go. So I don't like to keep redoing my stuff all the time, but it happens. Hey, that carburetor was a little loose, it seems like. That could have been part of the trouble. Maybe that gasket scrunched down a little bit and then bolts came loose. Alright. Interesting. Oh! There's a 1015 Santa Fe Express right there! Just in time to make all the noise you ever dreamed of. I'm going to kind of run that bolt back through that gasket. Wait a minute, I might have made a mistake here. Okay. There's an old gasket still stuck on the bottom of that manifold there that I didn't see. That might have been why we weren't drawing fuel. Whoopsie. Alright, so there's 2 nuts back here. What size are they? 9/16 looks like to me. We may be able to get our box end on them. Oh, and we can, looky there. Hey, looky there, it twisted in the head for a second and then she started to come off. That coil, good stuff, I'm telling you. Now we'll get a good look at our valve stems while we're here too. All right. Excellent. She's coming right apart for us. I'm just gonna take our gasket off here because I feel like I'm doing more damage. like just hanging it there. Set it up there on this neat little tray up here that probably held welding rods and all kinds of fun stuff. There we go. Fraggle agrees. He's been more quiet than normal today for some reason. I don't know why. Old engine ain't too hard to work on, if I'm being honest. Uh-oh. That one, the whole stud started spinning out, but that's okay. We can kind of deal with that. This is a two-piecer. That's an interesting design. Huh. Okay. Well now, I bet you can kind of just probably slide. Well, not quite yet, huh? But we're getting there. Oh yeah. Exhaust ports are just full of trash. Oh boy, we should have taken a better look at that and tried to do better. Come on off of there. She just corroded on that back stud there a little bit. Let's get the intake off. There we go. Okay. Look at all the years of sludgy goodness in that intake manifold. Alright, so we're going to dump all this out so you guys can see. Look at all that. That was all going in our... all going right down our exhaust ports. And as you can see, they are full of crap. That is not good. Not good at all for exhaust valves. So I'm gonna go fire my air compressor up. Let it build some air. We'll blow those out. I'll try and lubricate the valve stems on it. And we'll start putting her back together. I'm running out of time though. Alright, I got the exhaust manifold off. I got it cleaned up. I got the intake manifold off and got it cleaned up. I got that old gasket off of there. It was all schmooed on here. It was bad. Real bad. Sprayed some Croil in behind all the valves. All the valve stems and all that stuff. I'm gonna wheel her over a bunch of times and we'll try to get that lubed up and freed up. Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on with that gasket? Okay, it's sitting on that valve. I don't like that. Get over there. Okay, there we go. Everything should be freed up. We can start putting her back together. I'm gonna, I know this video's got to be getting extremely long. I think I'm just gonna hurry up and put the manifolds back on, slap her back together, and then when I get to that point, I'll bring you guys back when we try to lick it off again, see how that goes. Okay, well, as you can see, I got the head back on. We got fuel in it. I put a little in the cylinders before I put the plugs back in. Carburetor's hooked up. Bowl is full. It is time to see what this thing is gonna do. And it's the last try I got before I gotta leave. So we're gonna give her a quick shot and see if it'll go. After all that work we just put into her, I sure hope she does. Here we go. Here goes nothing. Ow. Oh, man. Too much choke, not enough. What's the deal here? Well, we're dripping fuel like nobody's business. Tried to fire there. Oh man, I just feel like I can't crank it hard enough. Like you need some RPMs or something. Give her a little more throttle. She acts like she ain't even trying. Ah, man. Might have to call her for today. Come on, baby. Let's check a plug. That was a lot of cranking. Plug's wet. Okay. Let's try another trick. Let's heat the plugs up. Be right back. All right, last ditch effort. Try and heat these plugs up a little bit. Stuff them back in. Might help, might not, but I'm about poop working on this thing for today. Oh, come on. Throw a little heat in them and jam them back in. All right. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. All right, here we go. Man, it just acts like it ain't getting any fuel at all. It's like it pops for a second and then nothing. Not getting anything out of it. Not a thing. Not a puff. Whew. Golly. I think it's worse since I tore it apart. Yeah, I got a caller for today. I think that's going to be it for this video because it's getting way too long. You guys know something I'm missing here? Let me know. A lot of you guys know way more about these old double-breasted Wisconsins than I do. First one I ever had. Neat old engine. I don't know if she's just totally wore out or what, but I wouldn't think so. Cylinders look pretty good. Head gasket was good. I don't know. But you know, that's how it goes in your walk with the Lord. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. When you lose some, it's usually so you can learn a lesson. Well, it's usually that way either way. Tell you what, disappointments in life often lead to the greatest blessings, I've found. Greatest blessing is knowing Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, because then you have eternal life. Anything that follows after that's a blessing. Anything. To be your best day, your worst day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the disappointment. And have a great day. God bless you.